The third of the trio. The finale. Whatever you want to call it, this is the finishing, closing end of these stories that I've talked about from our party that we used to play in one of our previous campaigns. Die Furries. Take that however you want, but I just thought I'd mention that because I've never said it in a story time officially up this point, I don't think. So, this final part, I guess, of the stories revolves around our bank heists. Because we had multiple. Why? Because we were broke and it was a running gag that at one point just seemed like a harmless fun joke. The session this happened at was a session between the DM and 2 players. Previously, we weren't in the campaign as much because life was going on, as it does, and we were like, let's just do what the party's been joking around about doing for the past couple months. Let's do a bank heist. So, with the power of a flying Aarakocra birdman and a hen yokai that could turn into a cat, we soared off to another village that happened to have a bank. It took a while to find that there was a bank. Surprisingly, because it's D&D, I mean, how many banks are out there? But anyways, we found one. It was in more of a rural, sandy village, very different compared to the village we were previously dealing with that had the snow and the eternal fog that had now happened. Oh, did I mention? This was around the time that Arctic had caused an eternal fog that we didn't know how to deal with, because he killed a dragon. Yeah. On the flight there, we'd come up with a game plan of what to do using our different abilities, and we decided, you know what? Let's just go in. Worst thing they can do is kick us out. Rio went into cat mode, and Krek turned into a mouse using polymorph. The bank workers were working as they do, and suddenly, a cat ran in chasing a mouse. The cat looked like a stray cat, and people were confused on how this cat got in the building, and what is this chasing? This mouse was very, very tiny. Eventually, the cat lost track of the mouse, and just kind of started causing chaos in the lobby area. What they didn't know was that Rio was this cat, and he took off his bandana and looked like a cat, you know? Like a cat. There's nothing suspicious about just like a stray cat. Krek, on the other hand, had turned into a mouse and ran back towards where the vaults were. Or at least what they assumed was there was a back hallway leading out there, and they had no idea what was down there, but they assumed there's probably money this way, right? Rio knew his one goal was to cause distractions and keep causing distractions and keep being just an annoying cat until Krek came back. Which was a surprisingly good amount of time, but while this was happening, Krek had found where the money was. Krek, when he was running back there, saw somebody taking stuff out of a vault. They were one of the employees, and it was probably for someone out in the lobby. Krek was still a very, very, very tiny mouse, and mice weren't that unusual to find in this location. And as this person was taking things in and out of this vault, papers and some coinage, right before they closed it, Krek slipped in, somehow unseen. Even though we were all so confused on how somebody didn't see a mouse go into a money vault. Krek had gotten in. He had gotten in finally to the spot where the money was, in the bank. You think that after this it wouldn't be that hard to get out. You know, just take the money and book it. Not that hard, right? Well, the vault door was locked as the door was shut, and Krek had attempted to take some gold and pick it up. But they were a mouse, and they were able to pick up one piece because of how tiny they were. Pick up one piece at the least, and that's a struggle for them to carry at that point. He was locked in. He couldn't take any money. And what he later found out is that there must have been some sort of enchantment, or maybe this was just a very sturdy vault, because it was airtight. Which means that he only had a certain amount of time before he suffocated. But they were panicking. They were panicking as a mouse, and they were just trying to shovel coins into their mouth like a chipmunk. But they weren't a chipmunk, they were a mouse. And they were just struggling and struggling and struggling until finally they just unpolymorphed and bamfed out to the side. They had finally bamfed out of there, and as they did, they didn't have any polymorph slots left. And they were panicking because what happens when there's a giant bird man standing next to a vault and they don't have any money, but no one saw them walk back here? Well, the cat was still there, and Krek just walked on out, very angered and panicked because of what just happened, and Flair was a little bit kind of like on edge at this point, which will come into play later, and just walked out and picked up the cat and walked out. they didn't go back. We didn't see any questions asked, or people confused, but I have a gut feeling that we weren't allowed to show up there again. Rio bamped out of cat form and was like, hey, where's the money? And Craig angrily was just struggling about how the fact that they did all that, almost suffocated, and didn't get any money out of it in the long run. So in kind of a furious rage, Craig broke into somebody else's house that was nearby.
Baba Booey.
They weren't disguised, they weren't invisible, they just walked on in. Craig ran in headfirst, no idea if there was actually somebody in the house or not, and just ran upstairs as fast as they could to try to steal something. They wanted to get away with at least one thing during this chaos session we were having, and as they ran up, they were spotted, surprisingly. But before the guy got to them, they busted open the wardrobe and found a safe. Now, instead of taking the safe or breaking the safe, they went to intimidate the safe open. The player was very persistent on intimidating the safe open. The DM did not allow it. Surprisingly, you know, when you yell at a safe, it's not gonna open. Craig was just yelling into this wardrobe at this safe in this one guy's bedroom. The guy walked upstairs and was confused why there's a giant yelling birdman in his room that just broke into his house. Craig got beat up and thrown out a window, which is surprising because they didn't fly out the window or attempt to fly and not fall out the window, but no, they just planted face to floor out the window. The way this session ended was the same way the session started, with Rio and Craig being broke, not knowing what to do, and Craig was just kind of angry in general, so hey, not anything gained, not much lost, except maybe a little bit of dignity for the fact that, no, you cannot yell at a safe for it to open. But next session, something else happened. At the beginning of the next session, when all the party is there, the DM does a recap of what happened last session. Yay! Arctic heard that and went, oh my god, you guys did a bank heist without me? That's not fair, I want one! So Arctic railroaded the party into doing a bank heist. See, we knew that this wasn't gonna go well because of what happened last time, so Craig and Rio just kinda like sat it out a little. We just kinda took the back seat while the main players in this bank heist were different people. It was done with Arctic and dandd. Dandd was a warforged that we had encountered and who had joined the party after Agnes went back to hell out of a bunch of events that had happened involving Dimentio from Super Paper Mario and, you know, the 9 Hells. But dandd had joined the party and unintentionally became Arctic's bitch. See, when I say that, I mean he got thrown in a portable hole for like 90% of the campaign. He was Arctic's kind of hype man, his Robin to Arctic's Batman, his side character, I guess. I don't know what else to describe it as. Henchman. Probably henchman. Before the bank heist, Arctic was so cocky that this would go well that he bought everyone fancy outfits. But Arctic and dandd had disguises, quote unquote. They were a bit more smart about their approach for the bank heist, won't deny that. Arctic and dandd went invisible, because Arctic had invisibility. They walked through the door, they snuck back to that money area and didn't see anybody. But there was a hallway going down there, so just to be extra safe, Arctic cast Sleet Storm, which if you don't know what that does, to quote, until the spell ends, freezing rain and sleet fall in a 20-foot cylinder with a 40-foot radius centered on a point you choose within range. The area is heavily obscured and exposed flames in the area are doused. The ground in the area is covered with slick ice, making it difficult terrain. After casting a literal sleet storm, he made dandd stand on the outside and him go on the inside, so Arctic is not seen, and this tall warforged is supposed to defend. Well, Arctic started busting open safes and taking money. dandd just kind of stood there in his outfit, and when people were curious, like, what's going on, instead of doing the intimidating actions that Arctic had described, he just was like, nah guys, we're fine. No, nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. Just keep on going, you're fine. This is just protocol, no worries, we're employees, it's fine. Then, Arctic had dropped the spell, ran over to dandd, put the portable hole back over him, had the money in his hand, looked at everybody watching this fiasco happen, and Dimension Door out of there. So it was definitely more flamboyant and more successful, but we didn't get the money. Arctic did. I can't remember if he bought us anything or anything like that. But we were technically less broke as a party, but it was more of Arctic and the hooligans at that point. So, those are both of our bank heists. Have a good day. Stay positive.
And... Oh, wait, what's that? Oh no. Ah! I made a Discord. After like 2 years of people requesting me to make a Discord, I finally made one. Also, promoting Cowquack because he helped me set it up, and he's a good YouTube buddy of mine. If you like memes, go check him out. He was not expecting this promo, but he's getting it anyways. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing on Discord, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy memes and art, because that's really the only things I have planned for that. Also, I have a new mic. Just thought I'd say that. I recorded all this audio before I got a new mic, so from now on videos will have this kind of audio quality. Anyways, that's my TED Talk. Final message to the world, goodbye. Also, don't rob banks. Robbing banks is bad. Stinky, ew, bad, no. Don't do it. No.